So I've been playing Modern Warfare for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had playing a Call of Duty game in years. We've seen many of the recent installments fall flat in the eyes of players, however the recent turn towards realism and grounded gameplay has been a refreshing twist for this series. Despite this positive change, there has been one glaring issue that has plagued the game since its release, and that's the abundance of bad spawns. Now this is particularly evident on the map Shipment, a Call of Duty fan favourite that makes its return for I believe the 4th time in the series. The map Shipment, which I will be covering in this video, has appeared in the mainline installments in many different forms, but I have never experienced spawns as bad as the ones on this particular game. Past installments have always been the high octane kill fests that are present in Modern Warfare 2019, but never have I played a version where enemies would spawn in such inconvenient locations on a frequent basis. I understand that the map is small by nature, but the developers have never had this much of a problem with spawns in previous iterations of Shipment. I'm not one to usually spread negativity in the gaming community, but when you get caught in a death loop without taking more than 2 steps after spawning, it's clear that something needs to be addressed. In this video, I dropped into the Shipment 24/7 playlist 30 times to see what patterns and trends were causing the terrible spawns in this game. I tried to keep this video short and concise, primarily focusing on the spawn mechanics and what I learned from dropping Shipment 30 times. If you are new to the channel, consider becoming part of the Future fam and hit that subscribe button. More than 50% of my viewers aren't subscribed but watch my videos, so if you enjoy the content, hit that sub button. So for the small percentage you may not be familiar with the map, here is the top-down version of Modern Warfare 2019. It follows the same design language as the original map from COD 4 with a few minor changes. The main difference being some increased verticality due to an increased number of stacked central containers. These make for some gameplay adjustments but are often underused and do not affect spawns in most scenarios. The map can typically be divided into 4 quadrants, where one team controls one half and the other team controls the other. This does vary from game mode to game mode, but this is generally the case. But for some weird reason in Modern Warfare, the game does not adhere to this quadrant philosophy. You'd expect spawns to be consistent with a team's control of the map, but my time spent dropping into the Shipment playlist would show otherwise. I found myself spawning behind groups of enemies sometimes, and vice versa, with no real reason to do so. I would be happy when I got a surprise quad feed, but equally disappointed when my streak would be ended 1 kill off a VTOL jet. We've all been there. It just seems as if the game's logic system for spawns isn't as intricate as it has been in the previous games in the franchise. I could understand enemies spawning behind me when I have teammates posted on all 4 quadrants of the map, but I found that they would spawn randomly even when my team only occupied 2 quadrants, which brings me onto the next section. As a long-time Call of Duty gamer, I am very aware that Shipment is not for the faint of heart. It can be a brutally fast-paced slaughterfest with little to no respite. However, logical spawns are what bring order to the chaos. Who wants to play a game where you can't predict enemy spawns with a degree of certainty? I am one of the many players who uses the minimap to determine when an enemy should spawn. If I see my teammates in an area, I assume the enemy is in the opposite section. This thought logic goes completely out the window 75% of the time in Modern Warfare Shipment. There was not one game that went by where I did not have an enemy spawn behind me. I would even frequently die twice in a kill cam due to how bad the spawn logic is. This should not be the case. Another major issue I had was with spawning in the middle of the map. Just why? It is impossible to spawn in the middle of the map and survive. Plain and simple, it should not be a thing. What makes it worse is that you almost always spawn in the line of sight of an enemy, making it an instantaneous death. Now I know what you're thinking.
If you don't like the spawns, stop playing Shipment.
And I agree, you have a valid point. It is the player's choice to play Shipment as it exists in its own separate playlist. But the main reason I wanted to make this video was to highlight how enjoyable of an experience Shipment could be if they just tweaked a few things with the spawn system. The devs have shown that they are more than capable of making an adequate spawn system before, and I'm sure it wouldn't take a complete overhaul of the game's infrastructure to tweak the spawns so that they are more favourable and consistent. Beneath the inconsistent spawn logic lies the potential for an enjoyable, fast-paced 6v6 map that new and old players can appreciate, a much-needed addition to the lackluster maps of this current installment. I know that the COD community are massive fans of small maps like Nuketown and Shipment as they consistently receive attention whenever they appear in a new game. But small and quite frankly fixable inconsistencies can really be a detriment to the player experience. If Shipment is really here to stay, I believe that the devs should work on improving this aspect of the map as it will be part of the game for a long time. The whole idea of bringing back a classic map is to invoke nostalgia experienced from the time spent on said map in the previous games. It can also serve as a novel experience for new players. However, this nostalgia is quickly shattered when the actual experience is flawed by ridiculous spawn logic. Lastly, I wanted to touch on my experience with the game modes on Shipment. In my time playing, I noticed that some game modes worked well and had consistent spawn mechanics, while others just failed miserably. Kill-based game modes like TDM and Kill Confirmed handled the logic system way better than objective-based modes like Domination and Hardpoint. It seems as if the game creates a link between the objective holders and their spawns in a way that's unlike any other map, and not in a good way. This may be intentional to make it fairer and to avoid spawn traps that were frequent when good teams would play Shipment on older games. But quite frankly, it just makes it seem like the holder of said objectives is irrelevant to the spawn logic of the game. This can easily open up a whole other debate regarding games catering to new players, which is beyond the scope of this video. I just feel as if the development team is either completely oblivious and did not bother testing the spawns, or intentionally did this so that the more inexperienced players can feel like they're enjoying the game more. Who knows? As I stated before, this is a criticism, but one that wants the best for the game and its player base. I'm sure that many of you watching this video have experienced at least one of the things discussed in this video, as it has been a topic of contention on Reddit and other areas of the community. It just has so much potential to be better, and this seems like a common theme in the Call of Duty universe. Hopefully we can begin to see improvements in the spawn logic in the future updates of the game. If you stuck around to the end, please leave a like on the video, it helps the channel tremendously, and comment down below your thoughts on Shipment and the spawns. Also subscribe for more videos like this one. It's been your boy Future1K, and I'll see you in the next video.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
No! I had it! I had it! Oh. I was 1 kill off 100 kills.